All right, good afternoon, my friends, and thanks so much for joining us for this streaming coverage on WLTX Plus of the Richland County Sheriff's Department. We are expecting Sheriff Leon Lott to hold a press conference at any moment. Here is a live look for you at the podium, which is at the Sheriff's Department headquarters on Two Notch Road. Here's what we know so far. Earlier today, they put out a note saying that they have arrested not one, but two Richland County Sheriff's deputies. Now, those Sheriff's deputies, obviously, because of their arrest, have also been fired from the Richland County Sheriff's Department. Now, what we don't know right now that we are expecting, of course, Sheriff Lott to come and talk about is what these two deputies are accused of doing, what charges they will be facing, and what evidence led them to this. Now, Sheriff Lott tends to be very punctual and really tries to stick to the time. If he tells us 1 o'clock here for the media, normally he gets out to the podium very punctually. So he has been holding press conferences with the media about this time for the last several months. We know his previous press conferences in the last couple months have been about his decision to charge parents when their teens are charged with shootings. Here he is. Let's go ahead and listen into what he has to say today.
I stand here today with quite a few emotions. Sad, extremely mad, very disappointed, but also proud a little bit. Proud of the honest deputies that we have here at the Sheriff's Department, the honest investigators that we got, that when they uncover something, even though it's one of our own, they don't turn a blind eye to it. They investigate it, and we take the appropriate action, and we hold our people accountable. Just like we hold those in the community accountable that breaks the law, we're going to hold our own people accountable when they break the law. You know, last year was a tough year for our K-9 unit. We lost 3 that were killed. We had another one shot, and had so much community support that came out and supported us, supported the K-9 handlers, and we just saw a lot of love that came our way. But unfortunately, while all this was going on, we had 2 of our K-9 handlers who was stealing from the Sheriff's Department. They were stealing K-9 equipment, vaults that we have in the back of our cars that we lock our guns in, muzzles, a lot of different things that go with the K-9 units that they use. They were stealing it, and they were selling it. We uncovered this last week in an undercover operation where we went to the social media platform. One of them had created under a false name and was selling some of our stuff. Made contact with that deputy, made arrangements to buy the equipment, and made arrangements to buy it here in the Sheriff's Department. And he showed up in his patrol car. And at that point, we took the stuff that he had, and we started an investigation. We have 2 of our deputies that were arrested this morning. I showed her pictures right now. That's the 2. Now, that is not their Sheriff's Department pictures. That is their booking pictures, where they were booked in the Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center this morning. Isaac Page and Corey Mayo, 2 of our K-9 handlers, were both charged with misconduct in office. That is the highest charge that we could charge them with. We wanted to make sure that the full weight of the criminal justice system falls on them. So they're charged with misconduct, which could carry a sentence up to 10 years. While they were supposedly working, they were stealing. They were using some of our own equipment to steal the stuff they were stealing, and then when they were selling it while they were on duty, even in the patrol car. I stand here a lot of times and amazed at things that people in our community do, and I really stand here today just, again, with all those emotions I described earlier about 2 of our own that I trusted, that those who wear this uniform trusted, and that the community trusted. We trusted them. We trusted them to go out and do their job. We trusted them to do the right thing. But these 2 did not. They broke the law, and they're going to be treated just like any anybody who's a common thief that goes out here and steals, that's how they're going to be treated. They were terminated last week, and they were arrested this morning about 9 o'clock. We did not arrest them immediately because we wanted to finish our investigation, which included downloading their phones, which we got lots of evidence off the phones. We recovered quite a bit of stuff from their residence, stuff that they had stolen that they had not sold yet. You really don't know what to say. I will say this, though. I apologize to the community. I apologize to all the men and women who wear the uniform. For what these two have done. They tarnished the badge, and all of us good cops, now we're going to suffer some for what they've done. Those who don't like cops will say they're all bad cops. They're not. The majority of the cops that put this uniform on are good and honest. They go about it the right way. Unfortunately, these two didn't. These are some of the items that we recovered. You see some of them are brand new items still in the bag that they were stealing from our K-9 office, and then we're putting them for sale. I went through a class in a meeting yesterday where the speaker was talking about vice sheriffs never get up and say you're sorry. I disagree. I think when we do something wrong, then it is my job to say I'm sorry to the community, I'm sorry to those who wear this uniform, I'm sorry to all the supporters we've got, and that we had two bad cops. But I'm also glad that we caught them. They've been doing this, as far as we know, back to February of last year. So it's been at least a year, and may have been longer, but we've got evidence that goes all the way back to a year. So I am sorry for what they've done. I'm sorry that they tarnished this badge. But again, they're going to face what they should. We're going to do all we can to make sure that their law enforcement certification, they don't have it, that they're never a cop, not just in South Carolina, but not a cop anywhere ever again. We're going to do all we can to do that. Paige has been with us for 4 years. Mayo's been with us for 2.5 years. The K-9s that they have will be reassigned. We'll keep on working. The dogs are not guilty of anything except for having a bad handler. So, questions?
Were some of the items that were sold, were they ever noticed to be gone or missing from the sheriff's department?
No. We didn't know they were gone until we started looking for them. And then once we realized what was there, then we discovered it. Yeah, some of the items. But again, if you look at the items that were stolen, they're not something that would have a serial number on it. It's just muzzles, leashes, medical kits, the boxes that go in the back of a car. So no.
So what initially spurred on this investigation?
One of our investigators came across on social media this fake name and noticed that what was being sold was items from the sheriff's department, and then made contact and set up a buy, and that buy occurred here in the sheriff's department parking lot. And that's what initiated it. Again, our people doing the right thing.
When you realized it was in fact your deputies, I'm sure many people had come to know them and trust them within the department. What was your initial reaction when you realized it was two of your own?
Well, I don't want to cuss on TV and the media, but I was not very happy with it. I mean, these are two that I trusted, two of them that I knew that I thought were good cops. No, they're not. They're not good cops. They're thieves. They don't deserve to wear this uniform. And that's why the pictures we put up, it's not in the sheriff's department pictures. This is the jail pictures. That's the pictures that people need to see, is them in the jail outfit when they've been arrested.
Any sense of why they were doing this, why they were stealing and selling these things?
Why does people steal? For money. Easy. Easy stuff. Steal it, you get away with it once, and you just keep on doing it. And they would have kept on doing it. If we hadn't caught them, they'd have probably kept on doing it. very disturbing to look at text messages that we got off both of them's phones, and just a cavalier attitude they had about it. It really makes you mad. It makes you mad that somebody who wears this uniform and the badge that we carry, that we're doing what they were doing.
What did those text messages reveal?
That they were, how involved they were, people they were selling this stuff to, talking about going stealing it, using a trailer that the K-9s has to go out and steal the stuff and transport it. It just showed the whole operation what they were doing. Taking orders from people on what somebody would want, then they'd go steal it.
What about the people who bought the stuff?
They didn't know it was stolen. You know, they didn't know it was stolen. So, you know, they're innocent victims.
Now, how much did these two steal? Like dollar-wise or not-wise?
I don't know. If we charged them with the amount that they stole, would be less than $10,000. So that's only petty larceny. That's a magistrate charge. That's why we went with misconduct. So it's I don't know, probably less than $5,000. It don't matter if it was 5 cents. The fact that they stole stuff, that made them a criminal.
Will this change anything, the protocol of how you keep inventory here, or?
It's hard, you know, we do a good job with our inventory now on stuff that has serial numbers. We track it. You know, so these are items that you normally don't track because they're items that you go get for the, you know, the K-9 has their storage room where they keep their equipment, leashes, muzzles, stuff like that, and medical kits for the dogs. You know, so yeah, we'll look at what we can do better. But you know, they were thieves.
And how do you respond to folks in the community who see this and feel like there is that tarnished trust in the sheriff's department because of the actions of these two?
That's 900 people work at this sheriff's department. That's two. That's two. So the rest of them, now, you know, look at the good stuff. And this is something we talked about earlier, is that look at all the good stuff we do every single day, and then I stand up here and have to do this. And that's what people see right now, and that overshadows all the good stuff that we do every single day. There's a lot more good stuff that we do than it is the bad stuff. And that's why I started this off talking about what had happened to our canines this past year and how the community came out and support them. You know, support the dogs, support the handlers. You know, we got great handlers. We got great people who work here. So I don't think that destroys the trust that the community should have in us. I think the community should, you know, understand that they're human. They made a mistake, and they're being held accountable for it. But that's, yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do the job. We're going to do the right thing, and the people here did the right thing. When the investigator came across it, she didn't ignore it. When our investigator started working it, they didn't ignore anything. They put the full weight on them, both.
Are you going to be reviewing any other cases that these deputies were involved in for any other possible misconduct?
They're thieves. I think that's the only thing that they're involved in is being thieves. Their arrest and activities they do are monitored pretty close because they have the body cams and the cameras in the car. So when you make a case and stuff like that, they're already reviewed. So I don't think they were doing anything like that. They were just thieves. They were just stealing stuff and selling it.
Do you think there are others involved, or is it just isolated to these two?
It's isolated to these two because we've checked. We've done some very close checking to make sure that we didn't have anybody else that was doing this, and it's isolated to these two.
What's the relationship between the two of them? Were they partners, friends?
They work the same shift. There's 3 of them that are on a shift. The third one on the shift had no clue what was going on. I will tell you, he is very upset because here he is out here working, and the other 2 that are supposed to be supporting him and working with him are out here stealing. He's mad. He's very mad. So there were 3 people on a shift. These were 2 of them.
Sheriff, how does the department handle when something like this happens with cases that they may have been involved with?
Well, that's up to the prosecutors. Again, we reviewed, their cases are reviewed anyway. It doesn't take something like this for us to go back and check the cases they made. They're already reviewed, so we haven't seen anything abnormal with the cases they've made. It's just they were stealing. They were thieves. And I can't stop repeating that. They were just thieves. And that's what they're going to be treated like. All right, thank y'all.
All right, Sheriff Leon Lott walking away from the podium. Clearly, he's very upset today, talking about, as our photographer zooms in on those two pictures. It was two different deputies that had been fired. Corey Mayo had been with the Richland County Sheriff's Department for 2.5 years. Isaac Page had been with the Sheriff's Department for 4 years. Sheriff Lott saying that both of them were canine handlers. Now, you heard him start off the beginning of the press conference talking about what a terrible year, as we know it was last year for his canine handlers, saying that they lost 3 dogs while they were out patrolling, and another dog was shot but survived. And he said he appreciated the way the community came together, rallying around his canine department during that time. There were fundraisers done so that they could buy new dogs. But again, this was 2 canine handlers. Sheriff Lott said they both were arrested this morning, although the investigation started last week. And he said one of his deputies saw that these places were posted on social media advertising for this equipment. They pretended they were somebody else. They went to meet up to get the equipment, and Sheriff Lott saying that one of those deputies pulled up in his patrol vehicle. He says that they were doing these sales while they were on duty. Many people there, you heard, ask whether or not they thought that other crimes were committed. He said no, they were just thieves. And sadly, in total, it was only about $5,000 worth of dogs equipment, but he said it was things like muzzles and harnesses, medical supplies for dogs. And he said at one point they were taking orders, meaning they were asking people online, well, what are you looking for? We can find it for you. So Corey Mayo, Isaac Payne, both Richland County Sheriff's deputies, canine handlers, both have been arrested and fired. Lott says they were charged with the highest charge that they could pick, which was misconduct in office. He says a maximum sentence of 10 years behind bars. Both of those deputies now having the tables turned on them. They are in the Richland County Jail today. They were just arrested earlier today. Lott says he's very upset because he says now he feels like this is overshadowing all the good work they do. He said hundreds of people work for the Richland County Sheriff's Department, and this was just the bad actions and bad decisions of 2 of their deputies. So we have News 19's reporter Walker Lawson there. He was at the press conference. He's going to bring us more on this tonight. But 2 canine handlers have been fired, and if you were wondering what's happening with those dogs, don't worry. The dogs are going to stay at the Sheriff's Department. They will just be reassigned to other handlers. All right, continue to join us at WLTX.com, and I'll see you for Friends at 5 later today.